New boss, same as the old boss. What the fuck did I just watch? Rutgers gets destroyed at home by Wisconsin, 42-7. I don't even know what to say. Let's go through this nonsense.
Is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with you? I really wish I knew, wish I knew, wish I knew. I'll give you candy, give you diamonds, give you pills, I'll give you anything you want. $100 bills, I'd even let you watch the
Hey, so Rutgers gets destroyed at home, 42-7 against the Wisconsin Badgers team that the chattering classes, all the talking heads and fans said for the past couple weeks, well, you know, we may lose at Nebraska, we may not lose to Nebraska, but we got Wisconsin, and we lose to Nebraska, and people are like, don't worry about it, we got Wisconsin at home. This is not the same Wisconsin team. I sounded the alarms. I don't know what people are looking at, analyzing, and watching, but this is my comments after the loss to Nebraska last week. On a day where Wisconsin absolutely pounds Purdue. And I'm going to say it again like I did in my rant last night. Wisconsin is not going to be check the box off in the win column kind of game. It's just not. Their passing game came alive. Their offense came alive for the first time in 2 years. Luke Fickell and Longo have been waiting for that offense to break out, and they did at almost 600 yards yesterday. So don't go into SHI Stadium this week thinking, oh, okay, we'll bounce back and then we'll get an easy win. It's not going to happen. So there you have it. This is a proud program. That is a Big Ten program that put up 52 points against Purdue last week, who is also a Big Ten program. They're struggling this year. By the way, they lost to Illinois 50-49 today. So just goes to show you anything can happen. But there's no excuse for this game. Braden Locke, Luke Fickell, Longo, they got well last week. One of my concerns was that the offense was finally coming together just in time to come into Piscataway. In a game that people, they were 2.5-point underdog, came into our house and ran us off the field. I'm sorry. Was Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, Ron Dane, Monty Ball in that backfield today? Are you kidding me? 310 yards rushing. Don't worry, coaching staff. I'm getting to you. Kirk Hackett. That's going to be your new name. Kirk Hackett. Run, pass. We'll get to all that in a second. Yes, I get it. We had some injuries pregame. I didn't know about the injuries till we got to the game. Tyree and Robert Longerbeam out. But as Coach said after the game, everybody's got the injuries. I thought we had gotten to the point where if we lost a couple guys, that we had enough depth and talent that the whole team wouldn't fall apart. Apparently that's not the case. We don't have Big Ten depth. One of the reasons people said, we'll beat Wisconsin, backup quarterback, that alone should have sent off the alarm bells. Okay, this wasn't a mobile athletic quarterback that gives us trouble. This was a strict pocket passer. And you would have, you would have thought it was Washington all over again. Will Rogers sitting back there. I'll throw a slant here. I'll throw an out there. I'll throw a seam pass down here. What was really aggravating that Wisconsin was so comfortable knowing what they can do in the passing game that down and distance didn't matter. second, third and short, second, third and long. They were throwing the ball. And they were throwing it deep downfield, and they were throwing it long, and they completed some long passes, accurate throws. Oh, it's the backup quarterback. We'll win. This is why our road to being an elite program is just, it's not in the cards. We're not going to get there. It's not just about this one game. The lack of execution, our situational football, again, horrendous. I'm sitting in the stands watching this debacle from Section 124, and I'm like, you know what? I wish Gavin was in there. At least the game would be kind of tight. Yeah, you'd be pulling your hair out every time he went back to pass, but at least it was kind of a close game until that pick six. And let me say this: Athan had a absolutely horrendous. What was he, 12 or 32, whatever it was. Now I know why he's a 50 to 55% passer. It's not because he's inaccurate. He had the highest drop rate, or one of the highest, second, whatever it was, at Minnesota. Highest drop rate in the nation. 6 more today. 6 that I saw, because this is like the old days. Left in early third quarter. Game was over. Those buses were filling up by middle of the third quarter. Chris Long, a couple more drops. Ben Black, a couple more drops. And one on a third down and long where Athan had to scramble out of the pocket, and he was throwing on the run, and he threw a dart off to the right sideline, the home sideline. Black jumps too soon. Ball goes through his hands, and I have to tell you once again, if he caught that ball, he would have split the defense down the middle and would have been an absolute good chance of a touchdown on that play. You just hear the crowd groan. Those groans grew louder throughout the game. Fletcher, he had a couple drops. Looks like the tight end experiment is over. He didn't have a very good day. I think he had 1 catch. Oh, by the way, who had the big catch of the day? Christian Dremel. He had like a 35, 40-yard catch downfield to get us into the red zone, into scoring position. One of my keys to victory, which, by the way, we didn't achieve any of them. I'm sitting here at home in my townhouse, and I'm saying, hey, this is what we got to do every week, and we don't do any of it, and we lose. Your only reliable receiver, as far as hands go. Dymir's, he hasn't been dropping balls, but we'll get to him in a second. You have a slot guy who's, okay, he's not as big or fast as or athletic as the guys that are on the field, and that's why they're there, and this is why we thought we had the best wide receiver room in years. What was it Bill Parcells used to say? Yeah, they may, if you look good in shorts is one thing, but on game day it's another. Dremel, 2 catches, 54 yards. Why is he not getting more looks? When those guys are dropping balls, and maybe that's why he got some looks today. Maybe that's why he got some targets. And once again, why is Sam not in the rotation? That 4th and 1 where we could have cut the lead to 14-7 down near the 10, 15 yard line, whatever it was. Once again, we'll get to that in a minute. There's so many things I'm annoyed about right now. I was raging that whole game. That bourbon bottle is going to be missing some juice tonight, I have to tell you. This was a Wisconsin team that's 72nd before today in offense in the country. They had 551 yards. Joe Harrisimiak, you're not off the hook either. Because our defense was supposed to be our strong point. It was going to set the tone. We had a bunch of upperclassmen coming back, experience, yada, yada, yada. Are we watching jet film? Is that what we're doing? We haven't been very good the past few years because we need quarterback. Offensive line was terrible. We think we fixed those problems. Now our defense was supposed to be really good is getting ran off the field in the running game. I mean, what are we doing? And speaking of the running game, by the way, coaching staff, Kirk Hackett. Okay, Kyle had, what do you have today? 78 yards, something like that. We had, looks like he had 70 yards. A lot of it came late after the game was not in doubt. We had 170 yards rushing, which was another key. The running game had to get well, but that's kind of deceiving because a lot of that came late. Athan had some good runs today, and I want to get back to that for a second because I say this every week. He needs to be part of that situational football in 3rd and 4th down to take advantage of. Unfortunately, we lost today. Kyle averaged, what do you have? 19 carries, 73 yards, 3.8, and a 13-yard touchdown. He's not going to get it done. So that 170 yards of Johnny Shepard had 20 yards on 2 carries. Antoine Raymond had 4 carries, 11 yards. Sam had 4 for 14 and probably should have gotten the ball on that 4th and 1. That strong runner between the tackles. My understanding is he might have got dinged up in this game. Not sure. I'm almost positive he was available at that point. By the way, on that play, we get the play before that, we got screwed by the officials again. It was not one, but 2 guys face masking Kyle on the previous play. It should have been half the distance to the goal, ball at the 7-yard line. We should have had some momentum. Probably even if we ran it 4 times, maybe we'd get a touchdown this time. This was like an old Wisconsin team, only they were better at the passing game today. Let's get through that. So Locke was 20 of 28, 240 yards, interception. No, on paper it doesn't look all that daunting, but he threw downfield and deep and was comfortable doing so and was accurate. And every time he went back, you felt that they were confident they were going to complete a pass, and they did quite often. That 3rd down, it must have been, early 3rd quarter. Let's go through the receivers. One of the keys to the game, kind of an honorable mention. You can't make this a key to a game because you can assume that guys that are D1 players, NFL players, they're going to catch a football if it's thrown to them and hits them in the hands. Catch the damn ball. Again, several 3rd downs would have been 1st downs. Ben Black had 2. The one he had on 3rd down, it was maybe it was 2nd down. would have been only good for 2 yards. That one wasn't a huge deal, but the one earlier in the first quarter was a huge deal. Chris Long, big spots, dropped the ball. Hearing people groan in the audience was just... It's heartbreaking, man. These games aren't fun to go to. You just expect the worst. Yeah, we're going to beat Howard. Yeah, we're going to beat Akron. But even those games gave you kind of a glimpse that get off to a slow start and you're not really in a rhythm. These are teams that should never be in the game against us. Fletcher, I don't know, he's just getting progressively less productive as the season goes on. Higgins had one catch for 1 yard. Kyle had 1 for 5. Daimir, 4 catches, 17 yards. We got to talk about this. Now, you know how I feel about getting him open in space underneath. He's a game breaker. Why on 3rd down, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, are we hitting with those quick hitters? And they're always a yard short. Happened again today. It happens every week. What are we doing there? Are we not scheming it correctly? The timing is off? Happened again today. I mean, just looking at the stats, you can tell, okay, 4 for 17. There's several of those plays in there. A little bit for 4.25 yards per catch. What is that? Coming up short again. Situational football is bad. I have to say on that 4th down, let's talk about that 4th down and 1. Play before, Kyle should have been granted a face mask penalty, not by one, but by 2 defenders. Was sitting there watching. It's unbelievable. I'm done with it. I don't know why. Maybe Kyle could have sold it a little more, but I don't think it would have mattered. Bad officiating is bad officiating. So we call a timeout when we should call a timeout, finally. It's late in the second quarter. We finally got a drive going. We're in the red zone. By the way, Wisconsin, bad in the red zone this year. Teams were 12 for 12 against them. That is until they play Rutgers. Okay, we're sitting there. Section 124. All right. Call that timeout. It wasn't going to kill him because it was a timeout that was used correctly for once. Let's see what they got. It's going to be Kyle up the middle. No, they're not going to do that, right? They're on to that. They're shooting the gap. They're keying on Kyle. They're stopping him. Nah, they're not going to do that. I would have even taken it, quite frankly, if it was less than a yard, I would have even done a tush push. But nonetheless, we get a little motion going. We get 3 receivers shifting over to the right, stacked onto one side. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, this is tricky. Boom, dive up the middle to Kyle. Doesn't get the first down. Again, another 4th down disaster. Another 4th down miss. At least it wasn't a stupid pass that had no chance. We've had a couple of those. And another botched field goal attempt. Situational football is bad. When other teams are able to convert in those situations against us, it just drives me nuts. Simple plays, slant, screen pass, little inside zone runs. They're converting. Even if they're not great offenses. Like Wisconsin, 72nd, 75th in the country, whatever they are. Eight for 15 today, 551 yards. Minnesota plays UCLA tonight. It's a later game, obviously, out on the West Coast. Going to take a look at that to see how we're going to stack up the rest of the season. Because the 8-4, 9-3, 10-2 season is out the window. I don't care mathematically that it's possible. The probability and statistics say that it's not. These toss-up games that we thought that we had a good chance to make a run on and finally get over the hump and be able to beat. And, it's not against the law to dominate a peer or rival or conference program. It's really not. We're allowed to do that, Illinois, we're going to lose. USC, we're going to lose. Maryland, I thought after that big loss to Northwestern we had a chance, but who knows? They still have a pretty good passing attack, even with Tagliavoa gone. Running game, not as great. I can see them carving us up like Will Rogers. Absolutely can see that. And I could see Minnesota beating us. They're well balanced. They're like Wisconsin. Statistically, they're like middle of the not even middle of the pack. But they like to throw it and run it equally. That can give us some trouble. Illinois, no question. They're just going to run us out of the building. USC going to run us out of the building. Michigan State, we got a chance with similar programs. On the rise, have some expectations. Jonathan Smith, people excited about that. Aiden Charles, quarterback, they had some hope for him, but he struggled a little bit. He hasn't performed as well as had hoped, and you could say that about Athan. But let me say this about Athan today. I've already seen things. The post-game press conference. How do we get it? What's wrong with it? How do we get him back up? Are you watching these passes? They're all on the money. So today, 6 drops, maybe more, because I left early third quarter. I was so aggravated. So there may be more that I don't know about, but at least 6. So then now that's 18 to 32. And there were 3 to 4 to 5 passes where, especially, there were 3 on one drive before the end of the first half. I think when they were going for that first, field goal, you get points on the board, where he just had to throw it out of bounds out of the end zone to avoid getting a sack and having that field goal attempt pushed way back. So that's 3 throwaways right there. And then he had 3 or 4 other ones. So out of his 20 incompletions, 6 were drops, and there were like 7 or 8 passes he had to throw away. So you're going to look at the stats. You're going to be, what is this? This guy sucks. It's not on Athan. There wasn't one pass that he threw that I said, holy shit, where was he throwing that? No, not one. He threw one to Sam on a 3rd down, and it might have been like 3rd and 4. Threw it out in the flat. Sam could have made a little better effort, but he wouldn't have got the first down anyway. That was the only one. It was short, at Sam's feet. It could have been a little more accurate. I don't know what to tell you. Last week's recap after Nebraska, I said I knew we were going to lose right after that botched fake field goal attempt. You're giving them momentum back to Nebraska, and they're a team that's physically can have their way a little bit with us, and they did. Went right down the field like a hot knife through butter. Wisconsin's, I believe, was their first possession. It's 3rd and 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. They got good yardage on first down. We did a good job on second down. Now it's 3rd down. We had them stop behind the line. Would have been a no gain or a loss. Here's another problem that keeps occurring. Joe Harris-Semiak. We couldn't tackle. He should have been tackled in the backfield. Broke 2, 3, 4 tackles, got the first down. Then after that, like Nebraska, that one play set the momentum forward. They went right down the field on us like there wasn't even a defense. So one of the other keys, we said, okay, 3rd down, we had to be good. We said we had to have the running game and Kyle get back to doing what we do. That didn't happen. We had to also said Athan had to have a bounce-back game. It was like 15 to 37 against Nebraska, whatever it was. Interception, no touchdowns. He had to get back to having a game that he could manage, be efficient, be accurate underneath, move the ball, move the sticks. That's what we had to get back to. Didn't have, the turnover where he throws it into a mass of humanity and you get a tip ball interception. Kind of happened today. Happened in the third quarter. I wasn't going to blame him because Wisconsin was starting to run away with it. He was just trying to make a play, and he forced it into coverage. The two guys back, one defender in front of the receiver, had no chance. But I said, we had to settle him down and just getting back to doing what he does. That didn't happen. So that's 0 for 3. Defensively, I said last week against Nebraska, Viola, big physical, great pass over the football. Knock him around a bit, get some sacks. He'll miss high, miss wide. Did a good job, got 4 sacks. We're back to being the same team. We didn't take that step forward, even a sideways step against the quarterback who's a backup pocket passer, not even like a mobile quarterback. That backup quarterback, who's just a pocket passer, you want to rattle him. You got to get to him. And one time, we had another play just like this against Will Rogers in Washington. Defender, don't know who it was, wrapped all around them on third down. Was able to get a critical first down at a time when you could have switched some momentum if you could have got the ball back. Joe Harrisimiak, where's the pressure? Where are the sacks? We're supposed to have an elite defense that's like not even average. It's a bad job. I think we had 1 sack for like 3 yards today. And yeah, and I got to say, the offensive line today didn't give up any sacks. But I don't know that the protection... I haven't seen any of the stats. I'll have to look at the stats later on tonight. Stats as far as pressure. It just looked like Athan had to move and slide around in the pocket a lot, especially on third down. But the running game wasn't there either. So, typically the running game should be easier to block than the passing game, which is more complicated. So that was another part of the game that had to be a key to success, and we didn't have that. So the third and fourth downs, getting back to the running game, Athan bouncing back, offensive line being able to protect. Defense having to make some plays against the backup quarterback. Tick pass. Now pick 6 would be nice. We did get a fumble recovery after a good hit on a wide receiver. Not enough. Also said, so Wisconsin, missing their number 1 running back. They kind of rotate between 2 guys, but Tawee Walker gets most of the carries, him and Katie Akameli. I said you couldn't let 2 guys running back by committee, average a little over 4 yards a carry. It's nothing great. It's manageable. Like Coleman at Washington, Virginia Tech, they weren't prolific running games, but they carved us up. So that couldn't happen for this game. Well, it did. They carved us up. 310 yards. Tawee Walker, 3 touchdowns. He had a long of 45 yards. Paid Yakameli, 4 for 72. 18 yards per carry. 47 rushes, 310 yards, 7 yards per carry. So you couldn't let just an average running game do that, and they did. If Jonathan Taylor's back there, okay, there's nothing you can do. But I'm starting to think we're at the point now where we gave the program benefit of that. We're getting some good publicity. We're getting good recruits. We're getting guys in here. We're getting bigger. I thought we were getting depth, and you know what? We're just not a Big Ten team yet. Sorry, it's the truth. We're just not. These toss-up games, are we going to beat Minnesota? Who knows? Are we going to beat Maryland? Who knows? Truthfully, is there any Michigan State? Very similar. That'll be a close game. Start of the season, you would have thought, nah. You know, Michigan State, we got this. There's not one game left on the schedule where I was like, you know what, we got this. Good teams, good programs have that. Alabama almost loses again to South Carolina. South Carolina botches not botches, but they miss a 2-point conversion to tie the game. By the way, they get the onside kick, but they couldn't do anything with it. They lose 27-25. Could we ever imagine ourselves being competitive with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State in that kind of scenario? We're getting blown out by an average Wisconsin team. What are we doing? Yeah, this is great being in the Big Ten. You know, Coach Shiano loves the Big Ten. Best academics and sports, yada, athletics, yada, yada, yada. Going to have to figure out how to win in the Big Ten because it's the same team year in and year out. If we're going to let one injury on the offensive line destroy the entire running game, if we're going to miss a guy or two on defense and we're just getting run off the field, what are we doing here? It's not a Big Ten team. Kirk Hackett. You know, Kirk, I'm still waiting for those balanced teams you had with Minnesota when you were running it and passing it for 200 yards a game. When are we going to see that? With the Jets, one-run pass. We're supposed to have a good defense and don't. We have no creativity on offense. You know what I want to see? I want to see be more aggressive. Come out. Look, their defenses are shooting the gap. They know what we want to do with Kyle. You know, maybe come out, throw a quick slant, and actually catch the ball. Now we get a good fake going from Athan, handing it to Kyle. Quick out to a receiver, wide receiver screen. Get them a little off balance. Okay, what are they going to do here on second down? I don't know. They're going to hand it to Kyle, right? That's what they're going to do. Oh, no, look. We hit a slant on the other side. All right, now we had a backup. What are we doing here? All right, what are they going to do? They're going to hand it to Kyle. All right, here we go. Play pass, no. Let's hit the tight end down the seam. Now they don't know what to do. It's okay. What do we do here? All right, they're back on our heels a little bit. Now we'll do that little, that RPO delay that takes, 10 minutes to develop and, let Kyle get his 7 yards. We're not balanced, and I just don't mean having the same amount of yards passing and the same amount of yards rushing. The synergy between the two where they're both playing off each other to develop a rhythm, being able to pass so you can run it, being able to run so you can play pass. It's not happening. You guys are going to have to figure it out. This is terrible. UCLA, let me say it again. Don't think we're going to walk into SHI and we're going to walk off with an easy win against UCLA. We are not. And we'll see you the next time with a UCLA preview.